Hello, and welcome to the Phosphenes podcast. I'm your host, Krysta, and today's episode will be a solo episode. Over the past 9 months, I've released the first 9 episodes of the Phosphenes podcast. I've interviewed a variety of guests, from musicians to entrepreneurs, geologists, and just people who are living a life a little less ordinary. So in this episode, I just wanted to share with you what I've learned, what I think worked, and what didn't, and what I'm changing moving forward. The truth is, these first episodes were very much a practicum for me. I'm not the most techie person out there, so learning how to edit, balance sound, all of that has been, a pretty steep learning curve. And while I am proud of what I've created so far, I'm excited to take what I've learned and kind of revamp everything and take this podcast to the next level. I've been figuring out how to interview people, how to edit, how to structure episodes, how to create thumbnails, titles, chapters, clips. And I've also been figuring out, exactly what is at the heart of this podcast and what I really do want it to become in the future. I started the Phosphenes podcast because I've always been fascinated with why people make the choices that they make. Why do some people leave stable careers to pursue something uncertain? Why do some people move across the world and start life totally new again? Why do people choose to dedicate their life to art, music, having their own business? Underlying all of that is a question that I think all of us have asked ourselves at one point, and that's, am I living the life that I really want to be living? And if that answer is no, what's stopping us from changing? That's really what this podcast is about. One of the biggest things I've learned so far is that I really love interviewing people. One of my greatest strengths has always been my curiosity. I'm sincerely interested in people and their stories. I love understanding what shaped the decision they made, what's influenced them and helped them to become the person they are, and what's challenged them along the way. Some of the stories I've shared have been so amazing. Whether it was an archaeologist sharing like a really special moment in the field, a young musician building a career from the ground up, or an entrepreneur leaving a stable job in the oil field to launch a new business, these conversations captured exactly the kind of transformation I'm most interested in. At the same time, there's definitely areas to improve on. Some episodes started too slowly, in others my questions were too vague, and some conversations could have been edited a little more tightly. I do try to keep the natural flow of conversation because I feel like there is so much editing and manipulation that happens in these days with conversations and podcasts, so I did want this to feel more like a real conversation. However, there is room for more structure, and my solo episodes also needed more structure and a little bit more scripting. The good news is these are all things that I can work on and tighten up as I move ahead with my next set of episodes. Moving forward, every episode will be more intentional. In many ways, these first 9 episodes were the foundation. Going forward, I have a much clearer idea of what I want to be aiming for, the message that I'm hoping to get across, and just better ways to ask questions and to connect people to the story that my guest is there to tell. One of the most important things I've learned so far is that you don't have to be perfect to start. In fact, just starting is the single most important thing that you could possibly do. You're never going to get good at something if you don't do the thing. And that's why I'm so proud of myself for just starting this, even though I had no idea what I was doing, and persevering. I did an episode a week for months, and I'm now shifting to a bi-weekly episode schedule just because that's going to be a little more sustainable. It's going to give me the time to do the better editing that I need to be able to do and have a better work-life balance as well. But, those episodes were necessary. They may not have been perfect, but they taught me so much, and they really got the whole thing rolling. If you're building something of your own, whether it's a business, a creative project, or you're looking to make, a big life change, I hope this episode reminds you that progress comes from starting before you feel fully ready. Start small, start working on it daily, have a clear vision in mind of where you want to go and just keep moving in that direction. Thank you for listening and for joining me as we continue to explore what it means to create a life you actually want to live. Until next time on Phosphenes.